What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. My name is Owie, and I got my two co hosts with me today, Dustin and Chris. We're going to be giving our spoiler review of the Super Mario Brothers movie. Wahoo! We're going straight to it, baby. We got we got the two co-hosts, the Mario cousins, as I'll call these guys. I got my two cousins, two co-hosts,
I'm
Dustin and
Mario.
Chris.
I'm Mario.
You could be whoever you want in this review, but feel free. You could be Princess Peaches if you want to, because she was.
I'll go Donkey Kong. I'll say Donkey Kong.
You could be Donkey Kong.
I'll
I'll,
take
I'll
Donkey
be
Kong.
Princess Peaches because she was probably the biggest badass in this movie. But yeah, we're all smiles today because this was a freaking fun time at the movie theater. We had a good time watching this movie. It's safe to say we all enjoyed it. I mean, truth be told, I haven't played like a Nintendo or Super Mario Brothers game in like the last 2 decades. But in saying that, I felt like this movie hit all the nostalgic buttons that it needed to fulfill my Mario Brothers needs. Like everything this movie did in the character designs, the music, the visuals, it felt nostalgic to me as someone who hasn't played a Nintendo or Super Mario game in years. So I thought this movie did a great job in, just giving audiences from all ranges, giving them a good time at the movies. So I'll leave it at that for now before we dissect this thing. But Dustin, go ahead and give your quick thoughts on the movie before we get into this review.
Yeah, I loved it. Loved the movie. Loved the nostalgia. There was a little anger and anxiety when Rainbow Road came because I remember that game. How pissed off I was trying to do the hard level on Rainbow Road, and you get so close, and somebody knocks you off, and yeah, so that brought up a lot of bad memories. I love that movie. Movie soundtrack. A lot of 80s movie music in this, which I guess is homage because Super Mario Brothers in that area as well.
But
So
yeah, holding out for a hero, I feel like is in every single movie out nowadays. It
there
worked for this
was,
movie, but that song is everywhere.
yeah, there's a lot of music from that era that which made it really cool to listen to. It wasn't any douchebag songs, any new stuff that came out. It was just pure nostalgia. It was great. It was fun. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah, I loved it, dude. It was if you are a Mario fan, just from any game, like I know there's a ton of games, but like from the 80s, 90s, I don't see how you can't like this movie just simply off the nostalgia of it. It was freaking awesome. There were so many callbacks to it, to the video games, every single part, man. The whole movie just kind of played into that nostalgia, and call it what you will, but it was a great movie. I was entertained the whole time. The kids behind me couldn't stop freaking laughing. But fantastic movie.
Yeah, I actually envy the kids because this movie of Super Mario Brothers definitely
Way
kicked.
better than the
Yeah,
other one,
way
right?
better than the other one. I mean, it shitted on the other one.
What single-cell organism did you evolve from?
Tyrannosaurus Rex, the Lizard King. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I don't know how you make a live action Super Mario Brothers movie. So I am glad that this movie, stayed in the animated realm because it worked 100%. I mean, straight off the back, let's just talk about the animation, the way the film looks, and the character designs. This is as accurate as you could get into bringing, I mean, this world into the animation realm. What's it? Illumination Studios? They do all the Minion movies and whatever. They knocked it out of the park again with their animation with the Mario Brothers movie. It looks fantastic. The character designs are completely faithful to the source material while also still having that visual flair and good animation. So, I mean, the colors of the Mario world brought to life in this movie worked perfectly. I mean, this was perfecto, magnificent. I love the freaking animation in this movie. I'll say that.
Yeah, it was cool. You spoke too much on the animation. I totally agree with you. I'll speak on the accent that you just did because there was a little thing about the accent, right? We all knew about that. They tackled that right in the movie because they did that commercial with the strong Italian accent, and then the family was like, "What's up with that accent?" That was a little too much. So that was cool for them to tackle it. But yeah, and then the visuals compared to other movies that we watched, it was just really good. It's nice, and it just felt like playing a game watching this movie. it definitely felt like playing a game, especially when we got to the mushroom world.
Yeah, I think you guys all hit it on the head there. Like I think why this movie is going to be successful, critically or maybe not critically, but financially, just it stayed true to Mario. Like they didn't veer off any of the source material. Every little detail that you can remember from playing the Mario games, from Luigi's Mansion to Mario Sunshine to the original OG Mario's, the costumes, the superpowers, the power ups, everything. It wasn't just a little fan service here, a little fan service there. It was fan service throughout the whole thing. And Illumination, I think DreamWorks and Pixar kind of got a little competition there coming up. They're definitely on the come up.
Yes, yeah, I'm digging this. I hope this makes all the money in the world because critics are slamming this movie, like you said, Chris. I think it was like at 55 on the Rotten
Yeah.
Tomato score, which I mean, I
Dude,
know this is a kids
these critics did
review.
not have any childhood, dude. They did not have a childhood. Let's put it that
Yeah,
way.
exactly. This is a kids review. I'm trying to refrain on cursing in this review, but what the hell are these critics' problems? What are they expecting out of a Mario movie? I mean, we're three grown ass men, and we walked away smiling ear to ear, leaving the theater after watching this movie. So yeah, I don't. I mean, I hope this makes all the money in the world. I hope this movie, humbles Disney's ass. That company needs to be humbled and make better entertainment because they got some real competitors out there with Illumination and the NCU, the Nintendo Cinematic Universe, that will be brought onto the world with the success of Mario. I hope we get all the Nintendo properties and we get like the Avengers movie, which will be Super Smash Brothers the movie, baby. That's what I'm
Oh,
hoping
dude, yeah,
for.
that'll be
You
cool,
know
man.
that's what we're gonna get. That's what it's
That'll
gonna be.
be cool,
So,
man.
but other than that coming up, let's go back to the movie. Which Dustin, he did talk about the accents. Let's talk about the characters. Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt as Mario. Mamma mia. People were a
Your
little.
accent is horrible, dude. Your goodness
Yeah, I
gracious.
know. I know. I mean,
It's a
my
me,
accent's
Mario.
terrible. Let me hear your Mario.
It's a me, Mario.
It's me, Mario. That was good.
There you go.
There we go. All right. All right, Dustin. I know you're not a fan of it, but I'm a fan of Chris Pratt. I'm a fan of Chris Pratt as Mario. There was a lot of people hating on him. They were complaining on Twitter. He's not Italian. Chris Pratt's in everything. He's going to ruin Mario. He was completely fine. I thought he brought Mario to life. Other than that, like, that beginning scene with the Super Mario Brothers commercial where they did have the stereotypical Italian accents, it's explained why they really don't talk like that when we're introduced to their family, which was, the stereotypical Italian family. But that was a good time. Like the setup to this movie, the introduction to Mario and his brother Luigi. I like their brotherly camaraderie. So I'll say that. And Charlie Day did a fantastic job as Luigi, even though he was locked up most of the time. I wish he had more to do, but I thought Charlie Day
Right.
and
Well, let's talk about the real star of the show, and that's Jack Black because he stole the movie. Come on, enough with we can talk about Chris Pratt and Charlie Day, but let's talk about the real guy. Jack Black stole the movie. Everybody knows it. That man stole the movie.
Yeah, Jack Black as Bowser. I thought Bowser looked pretty damn awesome in this movie too. I like his character design. Like he looked really cool. The way that his animated version looked in this movie, I was like, man, Bowser looks like a badass. But yeah, Dustin's right. He was hilarious.
He was the funniest character too. He really was. He was the funniest character. I mean, the whole plot, why he wanted the whole thing was because he was in love with Princess Peach, and it was just this hilarious obsession that he had with her, and Jack Black just made that character pop. He really made it pop. So, I can, with all the visuals that we got to see, if I had to nail it down to just a character version, a character arc, like talk about it, Jack Black stole this movie for me.
Chris.
Yep. I would say, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like any particular character kind of stole the show. I guess if you had to pick one, you could say Bowser, Jack Black. I will say, like, his scenes were his little musical scenes was pretty funny. Where he's playing on the piano, but I think it was more of an ensemble. So I'm not going to say to me anyone particular stood out, but I think as a whole crew and team, I think that's what just made it kind of work. But again, if you're looking for character story, this is not it. This is like purely fast paced, action movie. To to me, it was great. Oh yeah, I know you maybe feel a little different, but
Yeah, I thought there. You know what? You're right. I that was one of my complaints was that I wanted a little bit more story. I wanted a little bit more exploration in this world because this is the Super Mario world. I mean, this is a world I wouldn't mind just hanging out in. So, like you said, it was all action. Like the last 40 minutes was just action, action, action. I was like, can we just slow down a little bit? I want to hang out for a sec. I want
I
to
think
talk
that's
to
the
these I want to talk to these characters over here. I want to hang out in this world. But it's like, no, we got
I
to throw
think
some badass action scenes in your face, which I was okay with because the action in this movie was awesome. I'll say that.
I think that's like the adult in you though, dude. Remember, this movie target audience is kids, and like, come on, I think most kids
There
movies
was
are,
a lot, yeah, but the
you got to
last
keep it
few
going.
movies, were also available for kids too, and they were all like 2 hours. This was running time was just an hour and a half, I believe.
Hour and 32 minutes. Yeah,
I wouldn't this one I would not mind staying another half hour to another
yeah,
45 minutes
100%.
exploring that world. The Mushroom Kingdom. My gripe, we didn't get to see Yoshi. We got to see a little bit of that the pink one, which I don't even
Yeah,
remember playing. I remember the yellow one, the blue one, the red one, and obviously Yoshi. But the pink one they showed in the movie, I don't ever remember playing that in the game. That would have been cool to see and
I don't
incorporate
even
that.
remember seeing the pink one in the movie.
well, yeah,
It
there
was
was a.
there.
They showed a scene, when all the forces are kind of together. They did show like the Yoshi species. So,
Yeah.
so when the
Interesting.
Easter egg or the end credits scene, which was, uh, you know, Yoshi's egg cracking in the bottom of, the
Mhm.
sewers of New York, I was like, why didn't they just have Yoshi in the movie? But that's all for the sequel. Like me and Dustin said, we wanted to hang out more in this world. Well, we got some shit to do in the sequel. So I'm pretty sure the sequel will fulfill our needs even more. But yeah, I like back to the characters. Bowser, Dustin said he stole the show for him. I did love Bowser and his character, how he was the evil asshole trying to run the world, but at the core of his character, he was just a simp for Princess Peaches.
Yeah.
He just loved Princess
That's
Peaches
what
so
made it
much.
great. That's what
Yeah,
made it
that's what
great.
made yeah, that's what made his character so damn hilarious. And it also was a good callback to the old video games because every single like in the original, it's like, what's Bowser's obsession with Princess Peaches? Why is he always capturing her? Well, it's because he loves her, and that's how he expresses his love for her. So that was a good callback to the original. So I'll say that. But for me, the standout character of the movie was the title character, which is Mario. I thought Mario was awesome in this movie. And we also didn't talk about Princess Peaches yet, played by Anya Taylor-Joy, who a lot of people were a little apprehensive from the trailers, like, oh, here comes Princess Peaches. She's going to be updated for modern audiences. She's no longer the damsel in distress. She's the femme fatale who's good at everything. She's going to steal the show and be the main badass, which she does steal the show a couple of times. But I think for this movie, and the way her backstory was explained, I was fine with her being a badass in this movie and being capable of protecting herself because it wasn't at the expense of making Mario look weak or stupid. Like when they're introduced, like she's not giving Mario a hard time. She's kind of infatuated a little bit with Mario and gives him good advice. So I like that Princess
Prince,
Peaches, was a pretty solid character and a badass. I like.
Princess Peach to me the when I watched it, she was to Mario what Trinity was to Neo.
Perfect
Okay.
example.
Yeah,
Perfect
she was
example.
a badass. She was strong. She was independent. This was her world. Mario was coming into her world. She was a ruler of Mushroom Kingdom, so she definitely knew her way around. And I love that training homage with Mario trying to get him up to speed so he can be ready for the upcoming battle. That's how I looked at her. She was the Trinity to Neo. So I have no problem and no issues with how Princess Peach was portrayed.
Yeah, there was probably one voice actor that I felt was a little weaker than most, and he plays a major character in the Nintendo franchise, and that's Donkey Kong, voiced by Seth Rogen. I guess it makes sense for this version of Donkey Kong because this version of Donkey Kong is kind of a slacker who, rides on the coattails of his father, who, he doesn't want to be a disappointment to his father. But I felt like Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong didn't have enough presence as I would expect as a character for Donkey Kong. So I felt like he could have done a better job in sounding more like Donkey Kong. But I mean, a talking gorilla. I
But
don't know how you
yeah,
make it sound like that. But I thought he could have been better. He was probably the weakest out of all of them.
but that's my point though. Like we don't know, number one, Donkey Kong games, yeah, they're, in pop culture, but there wasn't any like stories to the Donkey Kong game. So I don't think we as an audience like really know what to expect or from Donkey Kong, like how he should sound, his mannerisms, like his world and his character is not as fleshed out as Mario and company. So, I guess maybe that could be part of why you're saying that. But yeah, it could have been better.
Yeah,
I would have been okay if Donkey Kong didn't talk at all. He just kind of went up.
Yeah, just had funny,
Like I
just
would
did
have been
funny
fine with
stuff.
that.
Yeah,
And then just let
we
Mario
also
talk.
did get a Diddy Kong cameo. He was in there.
yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
That was funny.
He was in there for a second. But one of my favorite side characters was the little ghost. The ghost that was a prisoner with Luigi in the pits. He had like a morbid, pessimistic
Where'd he
sense
come
of
from?
humor.
I don't remember him in any of the games that I played.
I mean, he's a ghost character. Have you seen these ghost characters in like Mario Kart levels and in Mario levels and whatever? But yeah, I don't think he's like a reoccurring character in the games. But for this movie,
No,
for this franchise,
no,
I want to
he's
see more of this character. He was
he's in
hilarious.
the N. I think he's in the N64 games. Like there's little stars like that or whatever he was. But I think he's in the N64 games, like the Thousand Year Door and the Paper Mario games.
Okay,
And
okay.
I
So
think that's where he's from, but could
yeah,
be wrong.
yeah, so if you just look on screen and pause it, you'll probably see a bunch of side characters that players will, recognize from the franchise. So that's pretty cool. Like I said, I haven't played a Mario game in like 20 years. So my Mario knowledge is, out the window, but I still felt connected some way to this world. So that's how good of a job they did in portraying, the nostalgic stuff on screen. But let's get to the fun stuff and the action scenes and all the the stuff that represented from the video game. My favorite scene in this movie, and there was a lot of great action scenes and scenes in general. Like Dustin talked about the trading montage with Princess Peach, that was good. My favorite scene was the Rainbow Road action scene where they're being chased by Bowser's forces. That scene was like Mario Kart mixed with Mad Max Fury Road. That was my favorite part of the movie. I love that scene.
I'm gonna go with Bowser singing.
Just
Bowser singing.
anytime he
Wow.
sang.
Anytime he sang, and because it just like when this was just all about you're taking over just to marry Princess Peach. Like my God, you're so obsessed with this girl. So yeah, you said it right. He's a simp. He's just a simp for Princess Peach, and yeah. So that was my favorite scene. It just definitely brought a different perspective to what this is all for.
Yeah, I would say my scene is any time that Mario was going through the how do you say the obstacles. When he was training with Princess Peach, he had to go through all the bricks, the bullets, like all the little obstacles that he had to go through. In the like towards the end of the movie when him and Donkey Kong team up and they got to get to the top of Bowser Mountain or whatever, they're like picking up fireballs, hopping on shells. You hear the little noises when they jump on the shell. I think that's one thing too. Like all the sound effects are true to the game, so like that just clicks in your head too. That just brings back memories. You're like, oh my gosh, I remember that. The theme music, they had all the theme music from being in the tunnels, being in Bowser's castle. All those little theme music was also in the movie. That was pretty cool. So I would say anytime like he was going um, uh, through all the obstacles, they even had a scene where he was like they showed him like 2D scrolling or whatever it's called. It was awesome.
Yeah, the 2D scrolling, that was like in the beginning where they're
Yeah,
working New
yeah,
York
yeah.
City and Brooklyn. So that was a good
Yep.
homage to the old games, that little scroll or side scrolling.
I like speaking of that music, yeah, I liked it when Bowser was playing the piano and he brought his little assistant in and he started playing in the piano the exact music that when you go into Bowser's castle.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
nice little slow
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
version of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sound design was awesome. There's a bunch of little triggers in this movie that will just bring you back to your childhood if you're as old as we are, because we did exist when the originals came out. And
Introducing the next generation from Nintendo. New Super Mario World. Created especially for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System.
I mean, the setup in this movie pretty simple. You know, they find like a secret tunnel underneath Brooklyn. They get sucked into this magical world. That's all you need to know. But it's a world that I want to explore again because I had a damn good time with this movie and a fun time with all of its characters who I thought were represented in the right way for an animation kids movie. So, all right. Anything else we want to get out of this review before we give our rating for the Super Mario Brothers movie?
Yeah, I would say one thing that was kind of like weird for me, or like maybe threw me out for a second, was when they show Mario's family. You know what I mean? Like his mom, his dad, his uncles, or whatever. Like they were never in the game, so that was just kind of different. You know, I get what they're trying to do. So that was just a little different. And Mario looks like a grown ass man, so like it's so funny they almost treat him like a kid in at the dinner table. So, but yeah, that was one little odd part.
Yeah, I mean, times are tough, man. It's hard to find a place in New York City as a plumber. So yeah, they got to live with their parents in this day and age. So you just gotta buy into that. So
Yeah, for me, it was just trying to keep up with all the. It makes you remember, or makes you realize how many Mario games there are, because there's a lot of callbacks and to all the Mario games. So there's some of them I didn't recognize. I did not recognize a few of the Mario characters, or at least the Mario situations that were there. Like I think there was a cat suit, right? I didn't.
Yeah, that's from Super Mario Brothers 3, dude.
yeah,
No, it's not.
No, okay, well then the
No, that wasn't part
raccoon's in
3.
Super Mario 3.
The flying suit, the raccoon.
Oh
thing,
yes, that's in
the feather. That's from
64, N64.
Okay, so the cat suit's from N64. So
Yeah.
I never played.
Yeah.
So yeah, you unless you played every single Super Mario game, yeah, there's a few situations where, for me, I don't recall, but it was still great to watch. Still
yeah.
great.
Every time they had to use a power up, I was excited. I was like, oh man, I can't wait to see what this power up looks like when they use it. And when he switches into the cat power up to defeat Donkey Kong to unite the forces to fight Bowser. Yeah, that was one of my favorite parts of the movie as well. Do we want to talk about the ending before we give our ratings? Let's talk about the ending real fast. So, they transition from the Mario world and they bring the main battle with Bowser to the real world in Brooklyn, which I thought was a pretty interesting scene. I wish they would have kept it in the Mario world, but I enjoyed the ending fight scene because it also gave Luigi something to do, because Luigi was locked up for most of the movie, but he's a coward for most of the movie. But he finds his courage at the end with Mario, when Peach, gives the star to Mario and Luigi, and they get the superpowers, and they defeat Mario, or they defeat Bowser and everything. So it was a pretty exciting fight scene at the end, but probably my least favorite, to be honest with you, out of all of them.
Yeah, I would say my favorite part about the end, I do like how they brought it into New York City, because that's kind of like a callback to the newest game, Super Mario Odyssey. So that's I think that's where that takes place.
So Chris is our Mario connoisseur. He's the only one of us who still games on Nintendo.
You just called me a connoisseur.
Connoisseur.
Like a fucking dinosaur.
Connoisseur.
Okay.
Connoisseur.
There's no D.
There's no
word,
D, dude.
buddy.
No D.
Whatever. You hate on my Italian accent.
Keep that
Wow.
in. But nonetheless, yeah, it's a callback to Super Mario Odyssey. And I just like the way they kind of they got the star. Like that's like the ultimate thing to do in the game. That's like the ultimate power up. So it's kind of cool how they got the power up, and pretty much became invincible and whipped Bowser's behind. But I do like how they put Bowser away. They gave him the blue mushroom, which turned him super small. So that was
Where'd the blue mushroom come from, Chris? Where's the blue mushroom? What game is that from?
I don't know when they introduced it, but it's not like new. It's not something super new.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't in 1, 2, or 3.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
Not there. No, it was probably like on DS or N64. Maybe they introduced it, like on Nintendo DS. But yeah.
Okay, so you're not so much a connoisseur because you didn't know where the blue mushroom.
Yeah, I'm not so much a connoisseur.
Connoisseur.
Right.
Sorry, yeah, we said it wrong. Connoisseur.
Well,
Forgot the D.
then if you're not a connoisseur, it makes you a fraud, my friend.
Wow.
So I take everything I said back. But
Well,
yeah,
there goes a letter that has a D in it. Fraud, that has a letter D in it. So you got that right.
yep. Chris is not the Nintendo expert we thought he was, but neither am I. Neither
Change
is
the word to
Dustin.
expert. Yeah, Bill, play it safe. Okay.
I don't want to say that word again. I don't want to say it again.
Play it safe. Go
I'm
ahead.
done using that word. So,
All right.
all right, let's give our ratings for the Super Mario Brothers movie. I enjoyed it. Like I said, it had a good flow to it. I was just expecting a little bit more story, and just a little bit more exploration in the Mario world. Just something to get me more emotionally involved. Even though I was, I liked the overall core of the story, which was the brotherly bond between Mario and Luigi. I wish I had more emotional investment in the story, which, I had a fun time, but that's all I wish was just a little more time in the world. But I enjoyed it a lot. It's definitely a movie I wouldn't mind watching again. But I wish I could say it was like the best animation movie I've ever seen and everything, but it wasn't. But it was a damn good time. It's an 8.5 out of 10 for me. So I'll say that. Dustin?
I'll go 8.3. I'd bring it up there. I'd bring it up to 8.5, 8.6. If again, there was a little bit more meat to the story. And no Yoshi. And that's what killed it for me. I was like, how really? Where's Yoshi at? You gotta have Yoshi in this game. And there wasn't any. So
There'll be plenty of sequels. There'll be plenty of sequels with the money this movie's about to make. So you'll get Yoshi.
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, they should have Yoshi, to begin with in this one. So I'll go 8.3. It was a fun ride.
Yeah. I would say I probably honestly would have traded Yoshi or Yoshi for Donkey Kong. Having Mario ride around Yoshi and just Yoshi doing funny stuff. I think that's what I would have traded him for. But he'll definitely be in the next one in the sequel. So overall, I would say I guess you guys are a little bit harder to please. You guys still want a damn story from a kids movie.
Oh, come on. I mean, 8.5 is a good score. Don't treat my 8.5. It's a good score. It's a very good score.
But anything above 8 is a good score.
Yeah, that's a really good score.
I mean, I look at it like this. There hasn't been an animation movie that's came out based on a game that's done it this well. I mean, what comes to mind recently in the past, 10, 15 years? What animation movie has came out that was based off a video game and done it this well?
Sonic.
Yeah,
Sonic. You take Jim Carrey out of the Sonic franchise, that franchise is nothing. So yeah.
Yeah, yes.
And that wasn't really animation too, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyways, I would give it a solid 9. I want to say 9.5, but I don't want to give those out too easily. So I'll hold it at a 9. Solid 9. I was entertained. My girlfriend was entertained throughout the whole movie. Like, she loves it. And she didn't even play Mario. Like, she knows Mario, maybe played it when she was a kid, but she hasn't played video games as long as I've known her. And she was laughing the whole way through. So solid 9.
All right. So good scores around the board from all three of us. So yeah, I can't wait for the future of this franchise. Like I said earlier, I hope this culminates into the Smash Brothers movie where we get other Nintendo franchises like Metroid Prime or whatever and all that. Whatever popular Zelda. Oh yeah, Zelda. Yeah, Zelda could be another big franchise to tackle. And when the dollar bills start coming in, they're going to be like, what else can we bring on screen in the Nintendo world? And as long as they keep it faithful to the source material, like this movie, and make it entertaining for everyone of all ages, I'm with it. I'm with this NCU, the Nintendo Cinematic Universe. I'm with it.
Could it be the new superhero, phenomenon? With all these animations,
that's a stretch. That's a
stretch. Hey,
no, man. If you look at the numbers, the superhero genre are not making numbers. Even the MCU, they're not clocking in the numbers like they used to. So people are looking for some other fresh stuff. So
I mean, you got to know those characters though, like the Meteor guy and the Zelda. I never played Zelda in my life.
Okay, so you knew freaking Namor. Thor. Like, did you really know those characters?
I knew those guys. That's why now the new characters aren't coming in.
You knew of them. You knew of them. You didn't know them.
Yeah, I knew of them.
Okay.
And I knew their
So
power,
you know
their
of
powers.
these.
But when it comes to the gaming world now, it's like, okay, do we really know Zelda? Do we really know? These are some really throwback characters that
Yeah,
you're
but you
gonna have to
know the
play.
overall,
I don't
feeling
even know the
of
game
these
of Zelda. I
characters.
don't even know the game of Zelda. That's a very throwback.
Did you know
OG
the
game.
comic books of Thor? Did you know who his main villain was in the comic
Yeah,
books?
you didn't know who
Like
Iron Man was. You didn't know who
we'll see.
Tony
Yeah.
Stark
I knew of
was.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew of them.
Yeah, before the MCU and the Avengers, these were like second-rate superheroes compared to like DC characters and like the X-Men or whatever. They were throwaway characters. Like really no one really knew anything about Thor or Iron Man. They looked cool, but they weren't in the pop culture importance as they are today, which the Nintendo characters have been important in pop culture since they were born back in the 80s or whatever. So
Yeah.
even though
But you've got, who are you looking at Nintendo? You got Mario Brothers.
Zelda, Metroid
Probably, okay.
Prime, you could bring Pokemon into it. They're Nintendo.
Pokemon. I mean, that's still new. They've already had their movies, I think, haven't they? Hasn't Pokemon got
Don't
movies already?
underestimate the culture of the Pokemon, okay?
Yeah.
Pokemon. Don't underestimate
Okay,
Pokemon,
who
brother.
else? Who else? Who else you got? Donkey Kong has no personality. I mean, it's kind of, he's just a monkey, to be honest, with barrels and bananas. Again, was Zelda the one with, was he like the Robin Hood with the arrows,
Yeah,
right?
he wore the green
the green, yeah.
outfit. I wasn't really into Zelda either, but the games, are highly regarded as some of the greatest games. Like each time it comes out, and I think there's a new one coming out soon. So, yeah, I mean, even if they don't break out into like the Nintendo world yet, we still have this Mario world, which, like I said, I wanted to explore a little bit more. So, yeah, I'm excited for whatever the future has to offer in this franchise. Well, what do we want to say before we clock out of this review?
So while we're on the topic, real quick, sequel potential. I think the biggest, I'm wondering what other villains we were talking about this.
I got one for you. I don't know much about him, but he has his own video game, Wario.
Oh yeah, dude, I love
Wario, yeah.
That's
Wario,
true.
yeah.
Wario. That's a good.
So yeah, he could be a good villain.
You got Waluigi, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah,
I would love. I mean,
that's a good
for a sequel for me, you better put in Yoshi. Yoshi or rewrite it.
Yoshi is a pet of the royal family. You may pet him. Just don't move your hands around like a small wounded animal.
That's our review of the Super Mario Brothers. Do the Super Mario cousins have anything to say before we clock out of this review? Dustin, Chris?
No, go. It was all good. It was a good movie.
Hey, excuse me, Chris. What was that? Was that a sound effect? I can't tell what that was. That sounded like a puppy's whimper.
Going in there.
That's Mario's thing, dude. Woohoo! You know when you get. Oh my.
Oh yeah, well you're a little quiet there. You got
me, Mario.
There you go. There you go. All right, everybody. That's our spoiler review of the Super Mario Brothers movie. If you liked it, please smash that like button like Mario getting a power up. A comment in the comment section below of what you thought of the movie. What would you rate it? Let us know. So if you like this channel and you like us, be sure to hit that subscribe button, ring the notification bell as well. Chris is floating off into space. Say goodbye to Chris. Say goodbye to cousin Dustin. And we will see you all next time. Wahoo!